The New York Times article argues that everyone will pay higher energy costs because of Bitcoin mining, titled "The Real World Costs of the Digital Race for Bitcoin." Now, this basically is a giant propaganda piece about Bitcoin and how much electricity it's using. Their example basically is isolated to Texas because the Texas power grid is completely separated from the rest of the United States. But their argument is that it raises prices. Bitcoin mining does. But wouldn't every household having EVs charging constantly raise energy prices? Wouldn't every single appliance being electric, plus heating and cooling all being electric, wouldn't that also raise energy prices, electricity prices specifically? It doesn't make any sense. Fascinating, actually. CoinDesk also did an amazing write-up on this very article and how the New York Times basically goofed up the whole premise. So all the major BS from the New York Times is laid out very clearly right under the headline. By devouring it, by selling it, even by turning him off. And they cause immense pollution, not just to themselves, but to everyone. They harm everyone. And in many cases, the public basically pays the giant price, whether it's literal price or, well, the price of pollution. So of course, the whole premise of pollution sits on CO2, not zero. Of course, basic science says that, well, carbon dioxide is plant food. So there is that. So the main issue basically lies with Texas and how their load balancing program that pays people to incentivize lower consumption of energy, that's really where the New York Times piece should have a problem with. So New York Times basically says that Bitcoin miners are taking advantage of this by sucking up electricity and then turning it off so that they can reap the benefits. But anyone in this jurisdiction in Texas can take advantage of these financial incentives to turn off their power for money. And then of course they argue that the public pays the price ultimately. Well, this doesn't make sense. They're pushing to the max the use of EVs, including electrifying all household appliances. Therefore, everything we use will utilize to the max the electricity in the grid. So it's okay for EVs to use all the electricity in the world, but it's not okay for certain businesses like Bitcoin. They just don't like it. Therefore, this is bad. But it's okay if you use all the electricity for EVs, just not for Bitcoin. Funny enough, some people on Twitter were making fun of the New York Times, of course, because they make a profit from murdering trees. The very thing that absorbs the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, from the air. It's ironic to the max. And supposedly the New York Times murders 60 million trees per year just so they can print their papers. On top of that, people read the papers, what happens? They're just thrown away. Big, beautiful trees that absorbed the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere that they claim is all being caused by Bitcoin mining. So stupid. It's beyond the realm of logic. This reminds me of the 2017 article by Newsweek that said Bitcoin mining on track to consume, get this, completely, 100%, all of the world's energy by 2020. Anyways, it's so stupid. It gives me a headache. It's so stupid. So if we all switch to EVs, isn't that going to consume all the electricity in the world? All electric appliances consuming electricity constantly, all the time. Plus AC, plus heating, no more natural gas for heating. Maybe I'm the dumb one. I'm the crazy one. I don't know. Now you can hate Bitcoin all you want, but this is just a load of bull. Now some people say that Bitcoin is actually made on purpose by whatever devious forces to actually warm people up to the idea of CBDCs. But if you have established titles like the New York Times or even Newsweek, who just put out this crazy propaganda, makes you wonder. But hey, what do I know? The geniuses at New York Times, they're the all-knowing better class. Of course. That's why they're at New York Times. They know better. All right, guys, good to spend time with you guys. Thanks for watching. Smash the like if you haven't. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.